Hi, I'm Dom, and with me
I'm
today is
I'm James McQueen.
we're talking about WandaVision finale, episode
Season
9,
series finale,
series finale,
the series
and
finale, as it's
yeah,
called.
James, what do you think of this episode?
I liked it the second time round. I think I was more shocked at what happened at first, not because of anything that necessarily bad that happened. I just didn't like the idea that it just became straight up left turn action and whatnot. Do you know what I mean?
I I literally just finished watching this second time, and I literally could not care, which is bad. Like it
I
was
think
just so much action and nothing like
not. It's not the good kind, but but
yeah.
watching it a second time, I know what the problem is.
Is it
Hands
the
down.
fact that there's no like plot to the fighting? Essentially, it's just like
No,
here's a
there
big
is. There is. There's moments that have plot, like the library scene has
no,
plot.
no, that's the problem. It's like Vision's fight is just Vision punching and phasing for about
But
two
it's the
minutes,
thing.
and then they have to
It
talk,
does the
and then
worst
Vision
like
goes,
superhero trope of
yeah,
fighting your evil self, essentially. At least with one, there's a bit more nuance to that. But like,
uh, yeah, I'd agree with that.
but with Vision, it's very
They're
much
literally
like. But even
fighting
though,
their opposite.
but the thing that makes the action bad isn't those things per se. It's Sword. It's Haywood.
Oh no, that's another part. Haywood, he is one that should have been dealt with like
Way
two
sooner.
episodes ago.
Yep.
Like,
He only has one
and
line
then
in
it's
this,
just
and it's
like
at the beginning. He only has one moment of dialogue, and it's at the beginning with him and Jimmy. He
that's the
does
funny
not
thing.
speak for most of it.
Uh, Darcy is in this in one scene,
Yeah, she's not
and
even
that's
shown again.
literally her. She drives the truck, and you don't see her getting out and like
No,
going to Monica or anything. She just
no.
disappears. So what? So
It sort of makes me think
yeah,
like, could you have not done 10 episodes? But then again,
you could have
it did
done 10.
come to. I think it has a bit. It has not a dodgy, but just a more of a not inconsistent, just a bit underwhelming. But I think it ends so well. I think
Uh,
because
to
it's
right at the end.
because people are saying all these. Some people are disappointed because of the fan theories and Evan Peters, which is strange because he's dealt with in the first 10 minutes. He's not even mentioned again.
He is, and it's like the way that they talked about it, like like it's people wanting to mess with her. It was like, oh, and then they
Like
revealed it. It's like what?
I sort of get why they did Evan Peters because they wanted to have that doubt of who this character is, and they didn't want it to be, and they want it to be Agatha causing it. But
Yeah,
in doing so, if you just cast any other random person to play Quicksilver, you would have been like, eh? Like, of course this is
I
the
think
real
my
one.
issue is the
I
fact
get
that
why
it's
they
like
did it. I get why they did it. I just think
I get
they could have
why,
done
but
something a
it's
bit more
like
meaningful.
we need to know how. I think because why does Wanda think that he's her brother? Like that
Because
doesn't
she's
make really much.
speaking the same way as he would, even though he's not. Like, and how he baits it.
I know it's just
She works out that he's not her brother.
pretty quick.
Yeah, pretty quick. So it's not like she didn't work it out. I think it's more of a case of
Yeah, I
yeah.
think right. My biggest
Are
thing
they
from this episode is Agatha is definitely in Doctor Strange. I think at some point
which oh under Sam Raimi she's gonna be
she's in there because the way they end it, like I'll be seeing
mm,
you. It's like that's not something you leave for like 3 4 years.
no.
That's something that's like the next time we see the character,
I think
that character
her
goes too.
ending's great. I think her ending's great. It's such a just ending for her.
The ending would have been perfect. It's just the fact that she says, like, I'll see you soon or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, oh well, you've got to have her in the future then.
Doctor Strange gets a reference twice.
Yeah,
I
Sorcerer
want to talk about the other
Supreme.
thing after that when she mentions the Sorcerer Supreme. But I think the action is. I think the reason why is that this series has not had action. Like not action, but fighting.
Oh, that's right. if I had to compare this finale to anything, the way this is done, I'd say it's compared to like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where
Okay,
it crams the action in the last like section
what to make up for what it
to
not
make
having.
up for the lack of it. So it's like
And his thing, like
ultra.
in the case of this, it honestly they could have probably not had a fight sequence and got
I
away
think
with it.
honestly, the fight sequence could have been done very quickly.
Yeah,
Like it just could have been.
and because they do all the horror stuff really well when all the townspeople like start surrounding Wanda.
Yeah, but then it just stops.
It should be more of that. It should be more of that, and then the fire in the sky moment, because that's the best moment of
Yeah,
the action. Is that it's because it's like
yeah, but I know that's like halfway through the episode, so that's the problem. It's like
I think watching it a second time, it's definitely better because it's like it was ending her story. Like, look, if you had Doctor Strange in this, it would have felt bad, honestly. I think having him be in this, it's not his story.
yeah,
And if
it's
you,
just it's one where it's like it'd be interesting to see what happens from
I
here
think,
on.
yeah, because that's also another thing. Like the post-credit scenes with Monica and the Scroll. I don't know why that one was his first one.
That right, that annoyed me because I feel like we should like.
It should have been
I
the
feel
other way
like we
around.
need. I feel like we should. I feel like no, not that. Like, I don't really care about that, but I feel like we need to be told if that are post credit scenes because
Mm.
like I've missed
Because you're
three
talking
or
about the
four of
second
them
one, aren't you?
on this. Like basically all of them essentially because they didn't say it. They haven't said to you,
I missed
"Oh,
the
there might
second
be a
one of
post
I
credit scene."
missed the second one of the finale. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think they try
like they should.
to
They should
because I
like.
think they try to. It says if the episode says, "Oh, play next episode," there isn't one. But if it does, if it doesn't, there is. I just think,
Yeah, because
and
it's
it's
that
just
whole
like,
thing of on
uh,
the. If you have you watched a Marvel movie on Disney Plus?
yes,
Yeah, and it says once you get to the actual like credits, it says skip
yeah,
to post credits, which is a good option.
yeah,
It's a good thing to have in there. So I feel like
mm,
this might have actually benefited from having that option on there.
yeah,
Like, you know, oh right, there is like just to hint like, oh there is one, you know, and then oh it stayed up, so there might be another one. Because I just like with a movie, you know, the like I forgot what they're called. You know the like oh my god, the like journalists who get to see it first. They kind of what the whatever it's called. You know the ones who come
yeah,
out and they're like, here's my blurb of a review. I feel like those people are the ones who usually tell us like there might be a post credit scene,
yeah, yeah,
and that's why we always know to stay. It's like Endgame. We all knew not to stay, like because instantly people were like, don't wait around. There's no post
yeah.
credit scene.
I was told not to stay around, and obviously the only thing it was with Endgame was the metal. And that's the sound. I'm not staying for that.
Yeah, I know. Like,
But
oh
it's
wow.
the case like, what do you think of the post credit? Okay, the post credit scene for Monica is clearly setting up Captain Marvel and Secret Invasion.
Honestly, honestly, I prefer the Monica one. I'm more
Yeah.
interested in that one because I'm like,
I am, but I feel
I've
like
just
they
watched a
shouldn't
whole
have
show about
undercut.
Wanda.
Yeah, that's true, but I feel like you undercutted that moment from the ending to that. Had it been that to Wanda to that, I think would have been a much more satisfying.
I think actually, no, it does work
And I
because
think that.
it's actually
Sorry.
chronological
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I think
because
that's probably the
obviously
logic. Yeah.
Monica is literally there, and then Wanda's like somewhere miles away.
Mm.
So I don't know,
I
but
just, think- I just think the problem. Actually, not problem. I think that scene with Wanda's from Doctor Strange too. I think that's directly from the film.
uh, right. Do you know why I think it is?
Why?
Because of the way it's shot. Like
shot differently. It's
it's
edited differently.
reminiscent of Evil Dead, the like long shot swooping along.
That the editing doesn't make sense. The cinematography doesn't look the same. Like you can just tell
And the
that
Doctor
sort of like
Strange theme plays
that
as well.
filter, huh?
The Doctor Strange theme plays as well. So
Yeah, it does. And that's not to say it can't not be Matt Jackman, but I definitely think it's from Doctor Strange. And I think it sort of, but it also answers a really big question about um where Wanda is in Doctor Strange 2, because we all thought she's going to be a mentoree of Doctor Strange.
she's
She's not. She's clearly
she's
not.
not she's not a villain
I
at
think
this
she's going to
point,
be more of an
but
antagonist
she's going to be she's an antagonist, not a villain, because
because she's going to save Billy and Tommy. That's the whole thing of her going
yeah,
to the multiverse.
but it's like,
That's also why I wish with Evan Peters they made it a bit more meaningful. Yes, he's not the Quicksilver you think. He's not the one from the Fox-Men universe, but it inspires her to go delving into it.
do you know what so the Fox movie Quicksilver, he is like, a bit,
Mm.
he's basically like a stoner character when you first
Yeah,
meet
so
him.
they even do that in this.
So he's quite close to this Ralph guy.
Mm.
And I was like, couldn't you just have said that's like, oh, they have the same people
Parallel
in each
dimension.
universe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's not Quicksilver here, but he's still the same guy essentially. Like, a kind of layabout, just doesn't really do much
Yeah, I
until
think
he
they should
has to.
probably tie it off like that. And
Because that's my problem. It's like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why him? Because the way that the like people around the show talked about it, it was like, oh, certain people messing with her, and it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense now
it's him.
because he's a nobody.
Yeah, and he's Ralph. I mean, so that's all Ralph
But
was.
yeah, but even then, it's like, is he Ralph? Like, that's the problem. It's like,
Yeah, no, yeah, but that's the thing. He's Ralph the TV show.
yeah,
His thing, he is Peter under Agatha's control in the TV show. In the TV show, he's Ralph. So that means he's another person outside of the Hex.
that's so confusing.
There's layers to this.
The
So
layers.
he's not
He's
Ralph.
he's actually
He could
Quicksilver.
still be. I doubt it because of the necklace thing, but yeah, there's more to it.
Also, that was the interesting thing. Monica can see magic.
Yeah.
Like, no one seems to have picked that up. She literally goes, How are you being controlled?" and just looks. She
Yeah, she can
doesn't
see,
like.
because it's the energy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Magic science working differently.
Oh man, it's. I think my issue is just the action and stuff. Like, I feel like
It's not
more
as
kind of.
prevalent on the second time round than it was on the first. I think it's such a whiplash of having action, and here's the thing:
Hmm.
it WandaVision didn't need a big action sequence. It could have just been Agatha and Wanda in the sky. It should have been more of that psychological Salem thing,
Yeah, it should have been.
because that's so
It
much more interesting and more inventive action
a slower kind of,
build.
more methodical, intelligent, I suppose, like
Yeah,
personal
because
way.
here's the thing:
Because it
there's
was
not been
just
one
like pew
fight
pew.
sequence. There's been no fight sequence in this series up until the finale, and it very much feels like we have to have action. You didn't need
Yeah,
action. And is it you could have really broken the mold with this series. I just feel like it lets itself down just a little bit. It's still a great episode. I think it's a great way to end. Like, I think the ending's great, but it's just like
I think
it
I
needs to
think
be more of
too
that
little
psychological horror that
happens
it was doing well.
for the fact that this episode's
Too
like,
little happens for the time it goes on.
it's like 40 minutes, and it's like 70% fighting.
Yeah.
Like, being truthful, and like, I'm not joking about the second time around watching it, I was like not fully paying attention to it because it was just fighting,
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't care to watch this because I've seen it already, and it's like, oh look, Vision phases. That was the
Vision
other thing.
phases again.
Vision
Oh,
fighting.
how do you feel about
It's
that
like
about Paul Bettany? Yeah.
it's it's really good, but like the fighting was just like cut to Vision fighting for like 10 seconds, and then cut back to Wanda,
Mm.
Like,
And his thing, some of the CGI is just a little bit iffy, just a little bit. It's still
uh,
great, but I just feel like
there were a
you
few
could cut
bits,
down,
yeah.
you could cut down on this fighting and save all this time and money.
Yeah, they could have actually said.
And that's what's
When
also
they
annoying.
said
Like,
when they said about, oh, we have more visual effects in this series than like any other, I was like, oh. And then we got some of the other episodes, and
mm,
it was like, oh, that's really interesting. And then we get this one, and it's like, Jesus
so
Christ.
with it's still good. Don't get me wrong. I
It's
think
yeah,
the
I know, but
sky scenes
they
straight out of a
just,
film.
I think they
Yeah,
did just spend a bit too much on fighting.
like, and here's the
Like,
thing: if they went for the more the practical route, like the Salem stuff, it would have looked so much better too.
yeah, it would have actually.
But that's also another thing. When Paul Bettany was with the actor he's always wanted to work with,
Paul
um,
Bettany.
Paul Bet, I love that. That will never not be great. But he, where do you think we see Vision next? Because obviously this White Vision is going to have
Right, like
like
that.
a humanity crisis.
I know we're being very like negative at the moment, to be honest, but that was the thing that pissed me off the most. White Vision just going,
He just flies off
I am Vision. Phew. Like, if he's Vision, why wouldn't he go to Wanda straight away?
because
It
he's
doesn't
not.
make sense. Yeah, no, but then it's like,
But Vision's speech at the end
uh, yeah,
sort of
it
gives
hints at like
reason to
White
why.
Vision.
Yeah, and I think
It's like
this
White
Vision's
Vision is
obviously
going
going
to
to
be
have a
me, but I'm
humanity
going to be like
crisis,
slightly
and I
different.
don't know when we'll see him next.
That's the problem. It's
Yeah,
like there's no.
I
He
don't know
just
when we'll
goes,
see
I
him
am
next.
Vision. There's no like setup.
Mhm.
He leaves.
Where's he
It's
going?
not
He could
like
be going to he could be going to space for all we know.
he could just be leaving.
Yeah, like
Just
where's
never see him
realistically the
again.
next time we could see Vision? Because that's the thing, I don't particularly want to see Vision, Paul Bettany without Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah, I think
I don't want to see them apart for that long.
I
Uh,
I don't want to say Doctor Strange too because it'd be like
That's another
you'd have to
person to put
shoehorn
in.
him in, wouldn't you? I think. Yeah.
Unless he's a post-credit scene, but
No, but then it's
they don't.
like
I don't want them to get back together. I don't want them ever to get back together like that.
right. So in the comics, they were together and then they broke up.
Yeah, this
Like,
is them breaking up.
I mean, she did kill him, but
Mm.
like,
Oh yeah.
you know, afterwards they broke up properly. You know,
Mm.
so like, yeah, they she still loves him and all that, but they should be separate now. Like, they have been kind of two peas in a pod, essentially, haven't they?
Yeah, and it's just that I just don't want to see. I don't want to see them that far apart together. But I want Vision. But I don't want them to get back together. Do you know what I mean?
But see, the problem is like, where do you have Vision now in this world now? Realistically,
I
do
don't
you
know.
have him leading the Avengers or
Thunderbolts.
some?
But then that goes against everything that happened in
Yeah,
here.
it goes against the fact that he is Vision at the end. Should we talk? Should we talk about the other thing that I brought up earlier about Hayward,
Mm.
whatever his name is,
Go on.
and the fact that he's like in the previously on bit, you have the line of like him saying, "Oh yeah, he's ours," and talking about Vision. He
He's not
belongs
even
to us.
Congress.
It's like yeah, the vibranium was stolen from Wakanda, mate. What are you on about? Just
Yeah, like
it's just so there are
he's
so many
such
people
a
who are like that.
douchebag villain. And here's the thing: they make him a caricature in this from
Like
what he
it's
has been. He don't get me
yeah,
wrong. I was sort of a defending against him because it's like, okay, he's a functional villain. He's a functional problem for Jimmy, Darcy, and Monica. That's all he was. That's fine. You can be like that. But it's
he was a
just
decent villain.
he's a functioning decently character. He's a moron in this.
He's
He becomes
yeah, he's
he
awful,
becomes a mustache twirling villain when he's speaking to Jimmy,
and just
and
the whole thing
and he doesn't speak again, and he tries shooting a child.
that bit. He starts shooting a kid. It's like what are you doing?
Mm.
Like the kids have done nothing to you.
Yeah, it's just like
Like
we need to make sure that this character's seen as bad.
it's just I don't know, man. But his line like when Jimmy's like,
It's just
or the people come in, and he's like, "You're bluffing." It's like, what? No one would say that in real life. No one does that. Like,
no,
just he
and it's
does
just like
become a
he
caricature.
and he knows he's in the wrong. Like a good villain's sort of half deluded in what they're doing.
Like Wonder in this.
Yeah, and I do think the problem is I do think Wanda should may have felt a bit more consequences, just a little bit at the end.
That right, yeah, yeah. She just literally she does a white vision and goes,
Yeah,
"See ya," and walks off or flies off.
like
But
there should have been a bit more of like it should have been much more like everybody's staring at her when she flies off. Like not her. Do you know what I mean? She should have walked through like I mean because she already did it with the hood up.
yeah.
Or I don't know.
Also, her fighting with Agatha.
Hmm?
I was like, I feel like it'd be better if like she got the Scarlet Witch outfit a little bit earlier during the fight,
No,
just so it was a bit more
because
like
it's so
a bit more cinematic because she has a boring
yeah
outfit on, and also the makeup or CGI of her being like old or like drained is isn't
yeah
terrible. It's literally just her with like an old filter on.
yeah
Like
because it's
her
the
cheek when
magic again.
yeah, but when she goes like when she kind of regains the magic, it literally just fades. Her cheekbones don't change. Her like face is the
Yeah
same. So it's like you could have done that. It could have been better that one.
yeah. It's
There's
not
a
like a
few other ones,
drawback.
but
It's
like
just yeah.
that one was the one that
But I think what was great about like the whole rune thing, it's such a great display of power. Like the Dark Troopers in Mandalorian, we've seen how bad
yeah
one Dark Trooper is. In this case, we've seen how big Agatha's hole is with the runes. It's not very. It's sizable, but you know, compare it to this, it's a whole bloody town with runes around it. And
well
it's just
that's the thing is like
it's such a power move,
we
and it's
don't
such a
see her
great
cast
display
them,
of
so
like
we
I
just
have
assume
so
she
much power
thinks
now.
them. Yeah,
Yeah, and it does the whole thing where the villain says a triumphant line to be undercut with a joke thing,
yeah.
but it does it really well and actually quite scary because when they pan out, you just hear the wind and it's like if the wind feels cold as well, and it's just like that's using a joke, but effectively, but it's not even a joke. It actually becomes like such a dramatic moment, which I think really worked. I think it worked out
I
well.
think um I think the good thing right going into Falcon and Winter Soldier and the other
Yeah,
shows, I think the good thing is Falcon and Winter Soldier is definitely going to be more action heavy.
but
So
it's from the
we
start, so I
yeah,
can. That's
so
the
we
difference.
won't get a big like action for 50 minutes because
No,
that is it's just. I know you said it wasn't too much, but for me it was just like
no. On the
I don't
second time,
care.
which I knew what was happening, but no. Even when I first watched it, I thought, "Is this what we're going to?" You've been so good up to this point. You didn't honestly need a fight
Yeah.
sequence.
Also, I find it funny. Like I looked at IMDb for like the ratings of these episodes. This episode's higher than some of the other episodes,
I
and
can see
honestly, I was
why,
like,
because it has a great
I see
ending.
why, but like overall as an episode, it's not as good as a lot of the other episodes
I
because it
still
is
think the last
dramatic.
episode's the best.
Last what 8?
Yeah,
Yeah, 8.
and I think with
I
like a
will
case of
rewatch this.
I do
Not
like how
yet.
Wanda and Vision went home. I do like how they went home,
Yeah.
and I think that's when the episode really came together, and it's like at the end, it's actually really sad. But even though the hex, they were saying goodbye for way too long.
Right. That's what I was about to say. Right. The goodbye scene would have worked had the episode been a slower pace,
Yeah,
but it was just like it felt like fight scene and then slow, and
and
it's just like
we want. I think the slow burn would have worked in its favor a lot more. and some people
Yeah.
are. Yeah, that's
But looking at the future of the MCU TV programs, I think Hawkeye is going to be very action heavy.
mm,
Uh, I think Miss Marvel is going to be the opposite of that.
I think Miss Marvel's definitely, I think, going to be like a is going to
Teen
be
drama
which I think
kind of thing.
it will be great. I think that would be
Yeah.
quite cool for it.
What If is obviously just like shorts.
What if I'm just
Loki,
like,
Loki, I think is going to be like
if you like this,
action.
if people like this, I think people like Loki.
Yeah, I think Loki's going to have action in certain places. It might have
But it's gonna
action
have that
in like
mystery.
yeah,
I
it might have action most episodes, but it won't be Loki.
Yeah,
You know. But
yeah.
yeah,
I think I think Falcon and Soldier could have a healthy bit of mystery too.
it's like looking even more into the future. Things like Armor Wars.
Ooh,
That needs
yeah.
to be like I think honestly that needs to be like corporate espionage, that kind of thing.
Honestly, it needs a name change.
No, like it doesn't need a name change because it's the name of a comic. So that's the only reason I can stand by that name. You know,
Secret Invasion, I think, is gonna be fine.
that one. If Monica is the main character, like or something,
Yeah,
I don't think she is because like uh the summary or whatever was like a team of Skrull agents. I'm pretty sure.
yeah. It's Talos
So
and
so
Fury.
it's probably Talos and all that. But Nick Fury is in that series, so Monica's probably in that. Like
Yeah,
just
well, they even
connect the
suggest
dots.
it, don't they?
Yeah.
They're going up there. Because he's building the
But I
satellite
was
not
like,
far
the
from
problem
home,
is,
isn't
it's
he?
like Captain Marvel 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't think too much of it yet. They've obviously got the plan.
Yeah. I think we'll see, like, what happens.
Yeah.
I think Nick Fury is in Captain Marvel 2 for a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Nowhere near as
and
much
we
as
know
the
it's
other
in the
one.
present now, which is great.
Oh, it's so weird, isn't it? It's so weird.
But anyway,
But yeah, I think, right.
how do you feel
Overall,
about WandaVision overall?
overall, very much
I do
enjoyed
still
it.
think it's one of the best things that they've done.
It didn't fail in the end. It just had a bit of like
It didn't.
eh,
It just.
could have been
I
better.
wished it stuck the landing better. I think
Yeah,
that's it. But otherwise, it stuck the landing it needed to. We just wished it, and we know it could have been better if they did it a different way because the action wasn't really necessary. It felt very much because we have to. Um, but but honestly, I think it's the best thing that they've done. I think it's up there. I think I'd
yeah.
say it's
I
definitely
think
in top five things that they've done.
overall, one of the best things about this is the introduction of Monica and her relationship with Jimmy. Like their pairing was
Mm.
really well done. Darcy, don't care.
I
She
think
didn't really do much. Like honestly, the way she was done,
Darcy's Darcy.
I know, but the way she was done in the last episode kind of proves like, yeah, she's not really part of
I
the
think
duo,
we're
is
going to
she?
see a lot more of Jimmy and Darcy and Monica. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if they got a show together.
I think Darcy would have to be like a backseat almost to them too.
I could see them doing like sort of like an X Files thing where they,
Yeah,
yeah, I could see them
but
do that
I don't know. I mean, that's been pitched
because he's the new
supposedly.
Coulson. He's the new Coulson, isn't he? He's the new Coulson,
Honestly,
isn't he?
That's a very good way to do it. Like
Agents of Swords, Agents of Sword.
Agents Assured, yeah. Then you've got Monica, you've got Darcy if you want Darcy. I think Darcy would be better as like a side character though, like a guest character,
Yeah, I feel like she can be in a lot of things.
because she's a scientist, so she's not
Yeah.
really like, oh yeah, I'm just going to be everywhere.
Mm,
But yeah, that'll
really
do it
enjoyed it.
for
I
this
think it's
episode.
looking.
Oh,
But
well,
here's it.
actually, for this series.
I would
uh,
give it a 9. I'd give it a 9 overall. I think it would have been a 10 if the action was um if the
I think,
action had been better done or better or that finance would be better realized. And it's almost there. It's got the things that could have made it great. If it was, it would be easily a 10, hands down.
I think honestly, I have to agree with you. but like there were a few little bits throughout the series where I've gone a bit like, like
Yeah,
it could have
I
been
mean,
better.
people said
Like there are
people
little
not
issues
people
that
didn't
I had,
slate,
so
but people said, "Oh, yeah."
I like
People
like I
said that,
said
"Oh,
to you
the
the other day,
first episode is yeah,
uh, the like with theories, I like theories. I like making theories,
yeah,
but
it's
I'm not
fun."
a believer. Like I'm not going to go like, I swear to
It
Christ, if Ty Burrell isn't in this, I'm
no,
quitting the MCU.
no, like the Ty Burrell theory, like imagine if it did, I'd have lost my shit.
I mean, to be fair,
But no, like no Reed Richards.
at least,
That was never gonna happen.
yeah, I know. At least in this though, um, at least our theories were like half original, you know,
Yeah,
rather than the internet like tons of articles acting like they've come up with the idea.
and let's be clear, like the Mephisto thing was realistic for
That
the
was
first
because of the
few episodes.
comics.
Hmm?
Like that was because of the comics. So
Mm,
there wasn't like it was like there's a there's a big bad. I still think there's a big bad because of the
mm.
way that like Agatha was talking at the end. It's like
Yeah,
what has she unleashed? I don't think it's Chthon
I
or
do
whatever.
think I do like the idea that Agatha is a bit more of a Loki, where she's probably a shady character who's made backstabbed bad people.
Oh, I don't think. Yeah, she's not going to be a. She's not going to be a Loki where she becomes like
The
basically
hit.
a hero.
She's actually oh,
She's
she could be an ally.
she's an ally. She's not a hero. She's going to be like
No,
the
she's
mystic
yeah,
of
she's her own party. She's her
help, I
own
suppose.
yeah.
But she's not going to be a good guy. She's not going to
Mm,
help because it's not. She's old as hell. She like why would she just suddenly help people?
yeah,
Loki
no,
makes
no
sense because he's been like
character.
I know, but then it's like
Yeah,
the way she's acted because she's been on Earth the whole time, whereas
yeah,
Loki was like jumping around gods and stuff.
yeah.
But yeah,
9 out of 10.
what would you give this episode then?
Oh, that's hard because it has a great ending. And I think the whole stuff at the house, like even then, like
And now we pause this
the thing that
thing because things have lost connection.
you there?
This is fun, isn't it?
You there?
Oh shit. Alright, that'll do it for this episode. See you next week. No, don't see you next week. That's it. See ya.